Hello, good afternoon and welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be doing a 3-month review, and we're going to be doing the 3-month review on one of my Dysons. This one is the V8 Total Clean. This machine I bought back in the beginning of January when it was on sale in Curry's, which it is again now, I might add. If anybody wants one of these, they are the lowest price that I've ever seen them at the moment in Curry's, the V8 Total Clean. I think it's about $350. That's less than I actually paid for mine. I think I paid $369 for my one back in January in the sales. So if anybody wants a V8, this is the current time of making this video, which is the, what's it today, 15th of April I think it is today. Because the V10's obviously come out now, prices on the V8 have dropped, and they can actually make quite good buys at current prices, so now might be the time to consider a V8 if you can't afford the prices for the V10, which are anywhere between £400 and £500 for the V10. So this V8 Total Clean is the top of the range V8 at the time. It has a couple more accessories than what you get with the Absolute package. What I'm going to do is to go through just briefly of what you get in the package again, and then I'm going to talk about the machine's pros and cons, what I found about it in the last 3 months of ownership, and then we're going to have a few little pick-up tests showing how it picks up with the hard floor head here, which is the fluffy head, and the carpet attachment. Now, I use the carpet attachment most, obviously because I've got more carpets in this house than hard floor, but nevertheless I do occasionally use the hard floor roller as well. Okay. What do we get then? Most of these accessories I have used since actually buying the machine, with the exception of this one here, which is, I think I used it about twice, and after that I haven't really used it again since. This is the Upholstery adapter, which basically it fits upon top of the wand here, and then you put your dusting brush on the end, and it enables you to go up high on top of the cabinets. Because I haven't got that many places really to clean up top of, it's one of those tools really that I don't really use all that often. I would have preferred to have had the soft dusting brush rather than this, because with the V8 Absolute you get a soft dusting brush, but they don't include it with the Total Clean. What you also get is the Flexi Crevice Tool, which extends like so, and I just managed to get it out with one hand, sorry. So this one's rather useful for using on your skirting boards. If you were to put it on top of the pole here, then it enables you to stand up without bending down, and enables you to get down all along your skirting boards, low places, and you can also put this on to go around the tops of your ceilings to get the cobwebs down. So that one there is rather a useful one. What I've also found the use for it is as well is you can go into the kitchen with it, and really tight spaces like down the side of the washing machine, you can clean down inside there. Tight spaces down the side of the fridge, you can get it right up to the back and get all the rubbish out that falls down, that comes off your worktops. So that tool, the flexible crevice tool, is rather handy. But there is a limit on how far you can flex it, because if you flex it too much it just merely kinks like so. So it's only got a slight amount of bend to it before you'll actually kink it like that, which I didn't think that was very good, to be honest. But nevertheless, it does give you extended reach on that, and the little dusting brush on the end is very handy as well. So that's that one. This is the tool here which you would use for your dusting if you were going to be doing dusting around your hard floor surfaces, windowsills, mantelpieces, anywhere you'd want to dust, you'd put this on the end, and it does make a pretty good dusting brush. But like I say, they do a dedicated soft dusting brush, which is supplied with the other models but not the Total Clean for some reason, and I could never understand why they didn't. I would have thought they would have done. But you can buy the soft dusting brush from Dyson. That's if you didn't want to spend any more than the list price of this was £550, and then they didn't include a soft dusting brush. That I was rather disappointed with, rather disappointed. So there we go, that's the combination nozzle. I have explained what all these do in detail in previous reviews, but basically you can alter that there to be able to pick up larger debris off of hard surfaces, which is like the scoop nozzle. Then you've got the Crevice Tool. This tool here is one I haven't actually ever used, to be honest. It's not something that I use on a regular basis, the Crevice Tool. But it's one of the things that you could obviously get down the sides of your sofa with, like so. You could use it in the car maybe. Obviously it's just a basic crevice tool. You also get the soft roller head, or the fluffy head as we call it here. This tool here is absolutely fantastic for hard floor use. What I tend to find with the carpet head, although you're supposed to be able to use that on hard floors and on carpets, it doesn't work on my lino in the back, because that lino is not stuck down all over. In other words, it hasn't been glued down, it's just like laid onto the top of the concrete floor underneath. What that does, basically, it just sucks itself up to the nozzle again with this and creates an awful row, because you can't switch this brush bar off for use on hard floors. This would be alright on hardwood floor or tiled floors or laminate floors where the flooring's stuck down securely. Yes, it would be fine, but for lino, again, I can't use that, so I have to use this. So if you've got a lot of lino in your house which isn't stuck down, then maybe you are better with using that head. So the animal version of this, which doesn't come with it, might not be suitable, because that's not suitable for all types of hard floors. Then what we get is the mini turbo brush. You can see that one's been fairly well used. It's covered in cat hair, to be honest, because this is what I use to clean the sofas off. Because I've got a white cat that lives here, she jumps up and down on the sofas here and tends to, depending on which chair she's been on, I mean they're all fairly clean at the moment, she hasn't been up since last time I cleaned, but she can lie on these chairs and leave a lot of white fur. This does an excellent job of removing pet hair. It's also an excellent tool as well for using on cleaning the stairs, which is what I will be doing a little bit later on. We put a little bit of dirt down on the stairs and I'll show it in use. And then we've got the hard floor, the carpet nozzle, which is basically your twin bristled large diameter direct drive brush head, which has the adjustable squeegee on the back to stop any throwback or scatter backwards when you use it on hard floor. The carbon fibre filaments here have been beefed up and improved over the earlier versions on the V6, where these carbon fibre bristles used to wear out very quickly and leave the brush completely bald black bristles by the time it was a year old, which some V6s suffered from. But on the V8 they adjusted the angle at which these come out of the brush hole, meaning they're sort of sweeping the floor at a different angle, and it seems to make them more durable. So far with this there's been absolutely no issue. Then you've got your stiff, very short nylon brushes, which are what they use to clean the carpets with, and it does a fairly good job on the carpets as well, which I'll be showing later because I've got some dirt down there. It's got the little wheels on the back. What I found is that if I just put a little tiny dab of oil on those axles there, that helps these to run smoothly. Just a little bit of maintenance there, because these wheels, if you use it on hard floor all the time, they do tend to look tatty rather quickly. The coating sort of comes off and they look a bit untidy. But as I say, as I use this on carpets, it's kept it looking quite good. I did do a maintenance video not long back showing how you take the brush roll out of this and clean it inside and clean the ends up, and you're able to clean on the inside of the clear area there. But yes, that's the hard floor nozzle. That's been pretty good. Then you've got the extendable pole, which is basically an extendable pole. This is what, if there's any screaming coming from there, that's just from outside, by the way, the children in the street. And then we've got next door's baby in the back might cry, so just take no notice of that. It's just, I live in a terrace house, you see, so you get a lot of neighbours' noise coming through. So what have we got then? This metal pole here is what enables you to use it on your floors, and you can also, it's very well balanced in the hand, this is, so you can tip it backwards without hardly any pressure on the wrist. Although it's a fairly heavy machine compared to the V6 is a bit lighter than this. I think the V10's even heavier than this one, but this one, with the configuration of the battery underneath your hand and the motor on top, means that when you tip it back, you're not getting the weight of all the weight in the front of your hand. So the balance is very good. So you're able to put your tool on and be able to do all around your ceilings and be able to get up high. And this is where the up top tool comes in. You basically put that on the end of the pole and enable you to do up on top of your furniture. Okay, so then we get the main unit itself. The main unit, let's just detach the pole. Now this is one point that I did want to make while we're on this subject. What I did find with this is that this connection here does seem very, very wobbly. The connection there seems too slack for my liking. I mean, it's not going to fall out or anything, but it just seems to be giving that impression there's a lot of side to side wobble play on that joint there. And it's the same with the one at the bottom as well. I don't know why they've done it like this. I mean, the V6 doesn't do it quite as badly as that. It doesn't affect the performance at all, but it just makes it feel like it's worn already. It hasn't got any worse over the time I've had it, but that's just one observation I've made. So let's take that off. I mean, it's not a deal breaker or anything, it's just one of those things really, isn't it? So here's the main unit then. Now this, over the 3 months, has already started to go slightly cloudy on the clear bin. This was clear plastic at first, and after being used for 3 months it has started to go cloudy, as most Dysons tend to do. Is the act of the dirt spinning around inside here all the time tends to sort of shot blast the plastic and makes it go a little bit cloudy and opaque. I found that the emptying of this machine is much improved on the V6. You basically, now this is difficult for now with just one hand, so I'm going to have to put the camera down while we demonstrate the emptying process. I found that it's very, very easy to empty this. It's just to pull this up like so, and when you pull the top up, it makes the bottom drop as well. And it also, as you're pulling it up, the rubber inside here scrapes your shroud off, because it's important with these to be able to keep the shroud nice and clean. So if it doesn't do it first time, you basically push it back down and pull it up a second and third time. Sometimes I found it takes 2 or 3 attempts to clean this off sufficiently. It doesn't always do it first time, but the opportunity's there, you know, you to do it 2 or 3 times until you do get that clean using the shroud scraper here. And then it just pushes down. So that'll hold about 0.5 litres of dirt before it's full, and there's your max line there. On the bottom here you have your battery status lights, which at the moment there's 3 glowing, like that, showing that it's fully charged. As the charge drops, those lights go out until you're left with 1. And then you've got about 5 minutes or so left of cleaning time, I find, when that one single light's on low power. So you've got low power here, and then you've got max power across there. So the max power obviously gives you the full 115 air watts of suction there, but the trouble is then your run time's reduced down to just about 6 to 7, maybe 7.5 minutes, depending on what head you've got on. If you use the carpet head on max, you're going to get about 7.5 minutes from a fully charged battery. The fluffy head you'll get slightly more because it's only 20 watts as opposed to 50 for the carpet head. And if you're using max with no attachments on, then you could get over 8 minutes. But for normal use with the carpet head on, I would have it on the normal suction power. At the time of buying this, it was listed as 22 air watts on normal. Dyson now on their website lists the V8 as being 28 air watts. So either, you know, they made a mistake originally, or they've speeded up the motor on the current models to make it slightly more powerful on the minimum mode, taking it up to 28. But at the time of buying this, it was listed as 22 air watts on the low and 115 on high. Now the V10 is a maximum speed of 151, so their max on that is a lot higher than this. But I find, you know, that the max on this is absolutely more than adequate for cleaning the carpets. You've got your battery pack on the bottom there. It's a 21.6 volt battery. You've got your filter on the back here, which is very, very easy to remove. Dyson say you're supposed to wash this every month. I've never washed it yet, and there's absolutely no real dirt in there. Because this doesn't use carbon brushes in the motor, it's a digital motor which spins at over 100,000 RPM. It doesn't emit carbon dust because obviously it hasn't got any carbon brushes in the motor, so this doesn't get any carbon dust in it. And you find really that any small dust that gets through that filter is hardly ever going to show on here, unless it was severely neglected. But you'd obviously wash the inside of that when you saw it was getting a bit dirty. This is the filter here really that you should be washing every single month. Now I found with this filter it doesn't tend to get that dirty. I've done a video showing how you wash these filters. That's on my channel a bit earlier on in the year. So I went into detail about the way you do these. So I'm not going to talk any more about washing these at the moment. That just fits in the top. I've never had any issues with that dropping out either, because on these models now they do put tiny little, you probably can't see them on here, but there's tiny little lugs on this top part here where my finger is that stick out and hold it in the top. I think on the very early V6s they didn't used to have that. So anyway, that's the unit there. There's been very few. Oh, one other issue I've had with this is this charger port here. Occasionally, if you're vacuuming a very dirty carpet, I've noticed it when I've been vacuuming, especially in dry, cold weather, when the humidity in the room is very humid. At the moment, I mean, we are looking at, it's 50% relative humidity in this room at the moment. It has been as low as about 30 in the middle of the winter. And it's when that humidity is very low that you tend to get static shocks coming from this charger port into your hand. Because obviously the back of your hand is right over that port. You get little shots of static every now and then that jump from that port into your hand and you can feel it. It's not going to kill you or anything, all it is static. And I think that's from the dirt spinning around in the bin, introduces static charge. Because the atmosphere is very dry, it can't escape from the machine. So it takes the escape route through your body instead. So there we are, that's the machine there. So we've talked about the accessories. I haven't really had that many problems at all with them. So what we'll do now for the remaining time is we'll show it doing a few little pickup tests. And the first one of those, I will put the carpet head on. Let me just put the camera down while I do that. And we'll go into the front here and we'll show some pickup tests on the dirt. Now again, it's a bit of test dirt that I put down on the carpet. It's in no way a big mess test. What we're looking at basically here is we can see the fine particles here. There's, you'll have to excuse this camera, I've got the strap keeps falling down in the viewfinder. Yes, we've got grains of rice as couscous down there. There's household dust which I've taken out of the dust bags that have collected over the last few months. So here's just a mixture of pet hairs that I've rubbed over. It's the usual stuff that I put down for my demonstrations. So first of all, I'm going to go over this in the low speed setting, and then on that side I'm going to go over it in the max. So we'll go over it in low first. Okay, so I'll just shake it, and there's nothing that actually drops out of the bottom because obviously it's pulled it all up into the bin. So as you can see from there, all that debris, virtually, pretty much all of it, let's say, you can see there's very little being left behind. On just 2 passes has been stuck up into the bin, and that's using the low power setting. We'll go over the rest of it up to that point, and then we'll put it on the max. So there we go. It's cleaned up the surface litter pretty well there. I mean, I can't obviously say how much deep down cleaning that's done. I don't think it really does much deep cleaning, but it will remove everyday surface litter. okay, from the top. It'll do that quite well on the low power setting, which you'll get 25 minutes of runtime for with that head on, incidentally. Let's put it onto max. So it's over onto max now, and then we'll clean up this side. There we go, and that's done absolutely fantastic. And there we see, all the dirt's in the bin. Now what I'm going to do, stick it back onto normal speed, and we'll see how well it cleans the edges. Right, so we're going to be doing a bit of edge cleaning now, right up to the edge here. So that's done. 2 small grains of rice there, it's missed. That's just on one pass back and forwards. There's a little bit more edge cleaning that now I want it to do. We'll do some front up cleaning now to see how well it cleans from the front. That's on standard. Okay, we'll put it on max, see if it gets any more up. And it doesn't, so what we're going to have to do is to go along it, put it back onto your standard speed again. We'll go along it this way round. It's quite flexible, that floor edge. So again, it hasn't quite picked everything up along that edge there. But again, the amount of dirt was excessive, but it isn't perfect at edge cleaning. Okay. So now I will put the fluffy head on, and we will go and see how well it does on the hard floor. Now, straight away, it doesn't do well with this head on. What it does, it just sucks the floor up to the head and tries to beat the floor, and then we get no airflow through. So this head here, for my lino in the back there, is not suitable. So instantly I will have to change that and put the fluffy head on, which is one of the advantages of the V8 Total Clean, because it does come with this. So if you've got a lot of hard floors in your house, that's an ideal head. Now we'll go and see how well it does. But before I do, I will have to empty the canister, okay? So, I mean, it's very, very tricky here with this camera, so I'm going to have to just put the camera over here, and we'll empty the bin into this bag. Straight away, one pass, one empty, and it's done it. Okay? Very, very easy and simple. That is a huge advantage over the V6, is the way these empty. So let's go and test it now on the hard floor. So on this hard floor we've got exactly the same type of material as we had in the front room there. So I'm going to put it on the standard suction, and we're going to see how it copes with this. Very good indeed. It does throw a small amount forwards as you're doing it. You do notice that, but if you push it over it, it will get it. And there it is. All of those particles, stones, everything have been picked up on low power with that fluffy head. I can't say how fantastic that. I mean, I'm not being biased towards Dyson here, but that is one of the best floor heads I've ever used ever. On a hard floor, that just picks up pretty much anything you want to throw at it that you're going to find on a hard floor, foodstuffs, anything like that. You know, bits of grit. It has got the power to pull the grit up the pipe into the bin, even on the low power. And with that on, you'll get nearly half an hour's run time, okay, from a single battery charge with that fluffy head. So if you've got a lot of hard floors, that head is invaluable. You really must have the one with the fluffy head on. Now to finish off, we will just put the other head on. We'll do the bit on the stairs. Okay, so we're now going to put the upholstery nozzle on there, and we don't need to empty the bin at the moment. And we will do, on standard speed, this dirt on the stairs. I might just have to put max on to get that bit. Now unfortunately it won't get right up into the corner, so what I'd need to do, and I haven't got it with me, is to put the Crevice Tool on to get right up to the edges. But otherwise it does a very good job on the stairs with that head. If I'd have had the Crevice Tool, as I say, I would have just put that on, but it's over here, so there we go. So all in all, I mean, my V8 has been a pretty good machine. It's had a little couple of issues, obviously, with the wobbliness of that wand where it fits into here. The odd times that you get a static shock that comes out of there. But again, that's in very dry weather when that happens. The battery life is very good. As I say, you get your wall charger here. which it fits into, space for 2 tools there, and then the plug fits in there. But otherwise, so far, it's a 9 out of 10 machine. Until next time.